because I trade things that are pretty volatile. When it does go my way, I'm on my small position size. I can make over 100% in a day on that position size.
How you doing, everybody? Another funded trader of Trader Pool, and today Christoph is with me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, thank you, Michael. It's great to be here.
Okay, great to have you here. And like always, if you guys at home watch the other videos, we're gonna ask some questions regarding to Christopher trading and his style and the way he found his own niche and the edge in the market. So let's dive into it. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I got into trading like a lot of people during the coronavirus pandemic. I just
Right.
kind of hit a where I'd always wanted to be trading the stock market, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop resisting this and just go for it. And so I started learning in 2020, and then I started actively trading in the summer of 2021. So it's been about 2 years now.
Nice. Okay. Not too long ago, but you entered like a very rough time or volatile time, right? A lot of ups and down in the market lately. So
Yes.
you experienced it a lot. That's good. What are you looking for when you trade in what type, what kind of style of trading, right?
Sure. Well, like a lot of traders, I came to the market very open, just wanting to find an edge, wanting to find the best way to make money, basically, in the market. And like a lot of beginning traders, had my hat handed to me many, many times by the market. And slowly over time, the thing that became most effective for me was primarily short selling stocks that gap up in the morning from the close previously. And I started trading with that method, had some successes kind of instinctually as a trader, but eventually learned that for me, a back tested strategy was the most effective.
Okay. And we're talking about penny stocks or also big techs.
Yeah, well, if it fits my criteria are basically based on gap up percentage, and to some extent some volume. So if it fits a large cap, then I'll trade a large cap. But primarily the ones that end up coming up in my scanner in the morning are small tech, small cap stocks.
Right. So you're looking for extended move after the gap as well, or once it gapped up, you're looking to short it immediately? How it works?
I'm looking for a pretty big gap in the morning, and then I'm looking to short it immediately with a pretty wide stop loss, which means I have to be careful. Especially with the rules for trade the pool, I had to adjust a lot of kind of how I trade because my stop loss is pretty wide, so I have to use a position size that's a bit smaller. But because I trade things that are pretty volatile, when it does go my way, I'm on my small position size. I can make over 100% in a day on that position size.
That's insane. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
I didn't say it in the first place. So congrats on the evaluation. You did it quite well. I mean, we will look at in the chart in a second, but I look at it right now, and yeah, very nice move to the upside, barely pulled back. So very nice work there. So let's talk a little bit about Trader Pool. How did you find us, by the way?
Honestly, I found you through a podcast. I had some time one day, and I was interested in listening to some more just trading information. I found a podcast called Chat with Traders.
Right.
Trade the Pool is one of their sponsors, and I had looked into prop firms before, but I wasn't interested in trading price action or forex, and that's primarily all I found in terms of prop firms. And then they advertised this prop firm that you could trade the entire stock market, which I had not seen anywhere else. I now know there's a couple other companies that do it, but I was very excited by that. So I immediately started researching Trade the Pool, and got on board about 3 months ago. And I had one evaluation account before this, and honestly, I was making good progress, and I was getting close to the end of my initial 45 days, and I started changing the way that I traded, and I had gotten up, I think, close to 6,000 out of the 7,800 I had to make, something like that.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the end of the 45 days, I was down to like 1,200. And so
Oh,
rather than add a month to something that I hadn't had a ton of progress in because I blew it toward the end, I just decided to start fresh with a super buying power, which is the one that I just passed.
Nice. So let's look at your chart for a second. And for those of you not familiar with our terms, super buying power is basically means that you can trade with $80,000 of buying power, and you need to reach 4,200, and that's yeah, that's what you did. Again, beautiful chart. You started like a bit of a rough start there, right? But besides that, very nicely. Do you recall what happened here? I mean, the pullbacks that you had?
I'd love to take more credit for the the positives in the equity curve and not take credit for the negatives. But honestly, because I trade more systematically, these down draws are within the parameters of my trading system. So because, like I mentioned before, I have to have a pretty generous stop loss at the top of day. If I have something that fits my criteria and it just decides to shoot to the moon, which sometimes happens, I can lose 25% up to
Mm.
50% my position size in a day, which also means given the daily trading drawdown that I'm allowed through Trade the Pool, I have to be very careful with my position sizing. But the initial losses there were from a stock that just didn't go my way, and then that one toward the middle is one that kind of went against me a bit more strongly. And then I was just fortunate that this particular month, the market offered me enough chances to recover and then move forward. And thankfully, this time I was able to stay disciplined and just stick to my rules.
I'm looking at the trades. You mostly, as you said, like short seller, right? Looking at the top. Why not to do the opposite? Let's talk a little bit about that for the guys that listen. A lot
Yep.
of the guys are looking to short those penny stocks, right? We have tons of funded traders that doing exactly this and making great money. It's, I mean, there is a technique that you can actually um, execute well and make money on those short selling. But why not to go the opposite as well and to look for the buying the dip?
Sure. I would love to do that, to be honest. I have just found that I have not had much success doing it, and I'm still open to finding a long strategy. I would love to be able to have strategies where they work well in any market conditions, and there are times where the market is more bullish and more bull biased. And so I would like to have more strategies for that. I've just found that as I've experimented with long bias strategies, I've not had the success.
Hmm.
I lose my discipline and I double down on something that's already losing, or the initial hypothesis was flawed as to why this would be a good long bias strategy. So I'm still hoping that I can find something because we all want to be that trader who's like, yes, I spotted this when it went up 10% the first day, and I knew it would go up 30% the second day, and then eventually it was a 300% runner. That'd be great. I would love to find one of those early on. I'm just not good at that at this point.
Yeah, so that's interesting because the market, we had this last year, we had a bearish market, and that worked perfectly for the penny stocks, especially. But what will happen, when the market will start rising again and just get into that bullish area, right?
Yes.
So we definitely need, as traders, we definitely need a few tools in our arsenal in order to work uh, in the bullish market, in the bearish market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm thankful that with my particular strategy, I've back tested it about 8 years, so
Oh,
it does still work in bullish conditions, but there are definitely
nice.
years the percentage gain is much lower. I may have a year where as a day trader, maybe I'll make 30% in a year, which is great for a long term trader, but day trader that can be tough to if you want to eventually make a living off of it. But there have been years like the past couple where it can be much more profitable. But this volatility is eventually going to calm down, I think, to some extent. And so I'm curious to see how things level out, particularly for short bias sellers like me and people who are doing more penny stock trading in general once we have kind of more. So I'm always kind of looking for other strategies. And there's a few traders I look towards so that when I have a little more capital, I can do a little less volatile style trading.
Right. So did you try to test it also the same strategy, but also on like Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon?
Yeah, again, like I said, it works. It works for a larger cap stock. It's just the gap up percentage has to be pretty large, and it's
Right.
rare that you get those moves with these large cap
Right.
stocks. I would like to find ways to adapt it, but currently what it's based on is a pretty large gap percentage in the morning. So you had that happen with some larger cap stocks when things were going absolutely insane in 2020 and 2021. You had like
Yeah.
large companies that gap up a large percentage, but typically now this is mostly small and maybe occasionally a mid cap stock.
So just before we'll go to Trader Pool and talk a little bit about that, and you can tell me what you like or dislike. Um, Tell me a little bit in regards to the penny stocks, just for the guys at home that listening. You're looking for the gap up, right? Like a major gap up, and I guess you're looking for resistance on that level as well, or something like that.
To some extent, I started really looking for resistance when I was starting out, and I had some success with that. But I found that I was losing discipline when it would break through resistance, because I
Hmm.
would be really sure that this resistance would counter any upward movement during the day, and so I would break discipline with that. So honestly, now it's solely if it fits my criteria, I short it. If it pushes up, whether it's through a resistance or not, I have a stop loss at a certain level, and I just leave it for the day. And if it doesn't hit that stop loss and it goes down, then I usually will pyramid my position so that I can make a larger percentage at a certain level, and then I'll take profits. Usually end of day. Rarely, if it seems to be hitting a pretty solid low in the day, I'll take some off the table. But most of the time, it's just an end of day based strategy.
It's amazing. Uh, Great discipline on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about Trader Pool. You said you found us through Chat with Traders. You did 2 evaluations. What do you think about the evaluation, about the company? What can you recommend or not recommend to traders that listening?
Yeah, so there's a lot that I love about Trade the Pool. I was so glad to find it because I had, like many traders, tried to find ways to day trade, and I'm under the PDT rule with the amount of capital that I'm just able to trade. Which, for those of your viewers who know, in the United States, you have to have at least $25,000 to be able to day trade at a United States company. You can trade with an offshore account, and so I was doing that for a while with an offshore account, and the fees were so high, I was really having a tough time. Typically, also because I'm a short seller, if you're trading actual stocks, you have to borrow those shares in order to short them, and there are fees associated with that. And because Trade the Pool works in CFDs, I'm able to only pay basically the trading fee for the brokerage to execute trades. And other than that, I'm able to short or go long without additional fees, which was a huge benefit to me, because while my system was profitable even with fees, without the fees, it really helped me to get over the hump and be able to pass the evaluation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is why a lot of penny stocks traders love us. Exactly for
I
that.
could,
Yeah. Alrighty, Christopher. Thanks so much for the interview. I guess the guys at home that listen will learn a lot from it. And are you on Discord?
I am on Discord. Yeah, I try to pop in when I can. I tend to be a little bit more private, so I'm not always on there. But I've been active the past couple days, and I'll try to stay on there a little more actively in case people want to ask any questions or anything.
Oh yeah, I remember I saw your post the other day when you passed the challenge.
Yeah.
So cool. Thanks so much and good luck. Hopefully the next check will arrive soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you, the head of the company. It's been wonderful. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks.